Hey everybody, guess what? I don't have to record a video in the middle of the night. So, big surprise there. The people in my household have actually gone off and decided to go out to dinner and stuff like that to eat. Unfortunately, I don't have very long to record this video, so I need to hurry up and get it recorded. I gotta leave it within a good, about a good 40 minutes because I gotta go to work and stuff like that. So, let's just get on with the video, right? So, for this video, I'm gonna be doing a quick Joyboy video and stuff like that. Keep in mind there's not much information on Joyboy, so we really don't know anything about him necessarily. We have learned a few things, but what I'm basically going to go over in this video is I'm going to give a bit of a name suggestion on what his true name could have actually been. Now, it could be possible that Joyboy was his actual name, alright? Or it could be that Joyboy was basically a nickname. However, I wouldn't really mind the possibility or the suggestion that Joyboy was his actual name and not just like a nickname that he earned because of of who he was. Like, you know, he was like joyous boy and stuff like that. So, to basically sum it up like that, okay? Alright. So before I give my suggestion on what his true name could actually be, let's go over some things of Joyboy that we have actually learned within the series itself, right? So probably the biggest thing we've ever learned on Joyboy was the fact that we found out that this Devil Fruit that Luffy has, the Gomu Gomu Nami, or better known as the Hito Hito no Mi Mono Nika, actually used to belong to Joyboy himself, right? And we basically learned this because of Zunisha, right? When Luffy was fighting Kaido on the Skull Dome and stuff like that, we basically found out from Zunisha that he was hearing the drums of liberation, and he basically stated that Joyboy had returned. Now, in reality, it wasn't Joyboy who actually came back. It was basically the same Devil Fruit that Joyboy had. So Zunisha was basically hearing the drums of liberation, and which is now in the possession of Luffy himself. And because Luffy has the Devil Fruit, Luffy has become the sun god Nika, okay? Other things we learned is basically some people that have known Joyboy personally, alright? So one we have is Zunisha. Now Zunisha is a giant elephant, which is basically wandering the seas, alright? Now, we did learn some things, like Zunisha was forced to wander the seas for basically a very, very long period of time because of a crime that he committed. Now, we do not know the circumstances of this crime, but we do know it has something to do with probably during Joyboy's time. What that crime was, we do not know, right? But he basically has like an apology to Joyboy because of it. So whatever it was, we'll have to wait for Oda to basically give that a reveal, okay? The next thing we have is, which we basically just recently learned in the last chapter, is that when the giant iron robot had basically stood up, we basically were given a message that it had an apology to Joyboy for some reason, which is kind of weird when you think about it, that there are, like, when it comes to Joyboy's time, there are a lot of giant characters to have, giant significant characters to have apology in some ways to someone, alright? Both Zunisha and the Iron Giant have an apology to Joyboy, and yet some theories suggest Joyboy could actually be a giant or a giant-sized character, or suggesting that Joyboy, it's basically saying that Joyboy actually has an apology to the Mermaid Princess Poseidon, alright? Now, Poseidon is currently in the hands of Shirahoshi, the current Mermaid Princess, okay? And there's basically, we first learned about Joyboy from actually during the Fishman Island arc when Robin was actually talking with King Neptune and basically learning the events of, like, well, not basically learning the events, but sort of coming to learning about who Joyboy was to a point, not completely, but more like knowing his promise and like the ancient weapons. Like, I mean, there's still a lot of things left on hand and stuff like that, but that's basically when we first learned about Joyboy, is during the Fishman Island arc when Robin's basically talking with King Neptune, okay? And so, which there were a lot of promises with those characters and like that. So, to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if there was another character from 800 years ago who knew Joyboy, if they also had an apology to Joyboy or someone. So, at this point in time, I don't think I'd be surprised if there was another one. Alright. But let's continue, alright? So, compared to all that, those are the main things that we actually know on Joyboy, right? We don't know anything else. Now, what could I be suggesting on what his name could be, okay? Well, just like in the first chapter where we were introduced to Joyboy's Devil Fruit, I probably wouldn't be surprised if there could be something else within that storyline as well that we could also be introduced. And what I like to propose, the idea of looking at the title of this chapter, Romance Dawn. Now, before I officially get into it, let's go over something with the D, okay? Now, I do think it's very possible that Joyboy actually had the D in his name, alright? To me, it seems the most fitting for him to actually have the D, but I will not basically stake, I will basically not stake money on it to make a bet of it, alright? But I will summarize that I do believe that it is very possible that he has the D, alright? And it really does make sense when you think about it, alright? So, to summarize in a quick manner like that, okay? So there are a lot of suggestions on what the D can actually stand for, right? Some of the most common ones are actually words that have been used within the storyline itself so many times to the point where it would probably be everyone's favorite suggestion on it if it actually turned out to be true, right? So number one, we have dawn. You can also suggest dream, maybe even drums. Heck, you might even be able to suggest dusk or maybe dance, whatever the possibilities may be, alright? However, dawn is probably the most official fan favorite one of all time, and it's probably really the best one that we can basically suggest, right? And this sort of gives me an idea on what his name could actually be, alright? Basically his full name, along with the family name, the D, along with the what his natural name could actually be, alright? So what do I have suggested for Joyboy's real name, if that is his real name, alright? Or who knows, right? Maybe it doesn't even have to be Joyboy's name, alright? Maybe this name I'm going to suggest actually does exist in the One Piece world. It's just not Joyboy's name. It's somebody else's name. But we'll get to that in a minute, okay? Alright. So, hear me out, and I can understand if you all going to think I'm crazy, right? But this is Oda's story, right? And Oda has done some pretty crazy things, right? Alright. So, basically, looking at the title of the chapter, I feel like we might be able to give an idea on what his actual name could be, alright? So, Romance Dawn, alright? Now, let's look at this in the, Japanese katakana spellings based on the English translation, okay? So, Romansu, D, Romansu, Dawn. Now, let's split the D and the on. Romansu, D, on. Romansu, D, on. Romance, D, on. I know. It's probably a bit crazy to suggest, right? But that's what I'm suggesting what his name could actually be, alright? Joyboy's real name was Romance D, on. On. On? On? On. On. And Romance D and you know, that might be something. You know? I might be able to connect Nami to that. Yeah. You know what? I think I might have to continue this video later. I don't have time to finish the entire video inside that because I really gotta make sure to get ready for work. So overall, thank you so much for joining me for this video. If you like anything I suggested or anything I stated, please let me know in the comment section below, alright? Feel free to subscribe to the channel, like the video if you like the video. Feel free to do whatever you think is best, alright? In the meantime, thank you so much. You all have a great day. Bye now.